What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the return of the Positively Awesome Wrestling Show, and I'm happy to be back. I don't know about Albert over here, but I'm ecstatic to be back. Albert, are you sharing that sentiment?
I am. I'm excited, man. It's the first show of the new year. This is a fun, fresh start to a brand new year of new pro wrestling. We're going to see a whole year's worth of pro wrestling we've never seen before.
I like it. That's a great way of looking at it. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to Albert. We exchanged that before the show went on. Let's see who's in the comments. We got Courtney's here. Happy New Year to Courtney as well. Tidy was going to be with us. He was powering through, and then last minute his sickness was too much and he had to back out. But have no fear. I have his things he wants to see in 2024 right here, and I will share them with everybody as we go along. Just to get it out of the way real quick, we will be doing 3 segments tonight. No top 5 because this is we're just getting our bearings back tonight. We're just having fun with it. But we're going to start off with what we've missed over the last few weeks since we've been gone. A lot of things have happened. We're going to get them to you, what we enjoyed the most, because that's what we do. After that, we're going to do the things we want to see in 2024. It was supposed to be 3. Tidy's gone. We bumped up to 5 to fill out a little bit more time. And I had some things I wanted to add anyway, so it works out that way. And like I said, Tidy will still get his in because I have them. He sent them to me. You're going to hear Tidy's opinions as well. And then I'm surprised now, but right now at the end with 10 questions, I got 10 questions about the year 2024 that I'm going to ask him. We're going to answer yes or no. I'm going to tally them up. And at the end of the year, we're going to see who had more points. And the winner will receive bragging rights like we do for everything else, because that's all we need to be doing.
That's right. You're current predictions champion right here for WWE. Just throwing that out there.
Bragging. Current predictions champion for AEW. Just throwing it out right here. We got Amanda in the chat. Looking good, babe. No, baby, it is you that is looking good. And she says hello to Albert. And then we have Cameron in the chat. What up, Cameron? Thank you for joining us. Glad to be with us in 2024. Let's keep this thing going. Courtney, this is something she's enjoyed since we've been gone. Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, to fight. He showed up in New Japan. He's got that thing going. Who was it? Who was it? I'm already drawing a blank on who it was.
It's a never open weight champion, right?
Yes. He does. I'm drawing a blank. It'll come up to me either, or she'll probably throw it in there for us in a second. Yeah, we got Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth over in New Japan. That's awesome. That's what it is. David Finley.
That's it.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
He did the whole that whole parole officer violation deal where that guy jumped over the judge's thing in Nevada and like attacked like the judge. He did that to Dave Finley in that press conference. It was pretty impressive. Yeah,
it was a pretty impressive jump. I was like, man, you could hurt yourself real quick doing that one, but he was safe and he didn't hurt himself, so that's good.
The Ziggler for you.
Let's see, Mustafa Ali. He's shown up places. Who else has shown up since then? Matt Riddle and MLW. He beat Jacob Fatu in his first match back. That's some real deal stuff right there.
Yep.
Happy for Matt there.
How about the Elijah, coming back, the formerly known as Elias. He came out with that little promo.
I didn't see this. I have not seen this.
So
I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, it was on Twitter. He came out with his own little promo. He's Elijah now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I like it. I'll look into it when we're done.
I'm glad he's continuing.
Yeah, because I loved Elias. I always loved Elias. You know what? I'm gonna let you talk about what you enjoyed while we're gone, while I handle something real quick. I have to go plug in my internet because it's been so long and I forgot to hardwire it. So I will be back, everybody.
All right. So with Jimmy gone, we'll start off with the stuff that I've enjoyed since we have been gone. So as you guys know, we took a big break from Christmas up until now. And to be honest, the one thing that I will say is that we had a lot of fill-in stuff, right? We had the Raw best of and SmackDown best of, which, I mean, shout out to Triple H. I love that he gave the wrestlers the time off to go and spend with their families for the holidays. We didn't have to have them, spend the holidays, on the road. So I think that's a big thing. I never mind recap shows because to be completely honest, I was hanging out with my family. So I wasn't really paying a lot of attention. And even if I was, it would have just been a lot of time where I would have had to just play catch up. So I'm glad that they did the best of stuff so that we really didn't have to get any new stuff that I would have had to catch up on. I had a hard enough time catching up anyway, But I mean, I think we should probably start off with the biggest news. And I know I want to talk to Jimmy about this because there's a huge implications. But obviously, The Rock coming back was absolutely enormous. Seeing The Rock again, be the surprise world champion. He did that segment with Jinder Mahal. Interesting character choice for Jinder Mahal now. He's done this stuff before, but hey, look,
I'm so sorry.
All good.
I was listening. I'm listening. I'm all on board for this Rock Roman thing. I'm on board, baby.
So that's the thing. We have the Jinder Mahal segment, and then The Rock comes out, big pop, and Jimmy. I mean, honestly, this is probably the biggest thing that came out since we weren't here. What was your reaction to that?
So, unfortunately, I was on a cruise, and I didn't get to see any of this stuff live, but I did see the clips, and I didn't even get to see any of the conversation about who it might be, or I know that someone shared a picture where he was at ESPN and Nick Khan was in the background. So everyone was like, it's probably The Rock. I didn't get to see any of this. So when I saw the clip and it was like The Rock, I was like, what? And then I saw what he said and I'm like, what? And we're going to be talking about that a lot. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad I was on a cruise. I'm just saying, I didn't see that. So that's the unfortunate part. I had a blast. I didn't watch any wrestling. I tried to watch Raw. I'm not going to lie. I did try to watch Raw. It just wasn't in my cards. So, but I'm not mad about it. The cruise was amazing. It's fantastic. If you never taken with anybody, you need to. It's really cool. Yeah, that moment was amazing. It's just amazing. And it's opened up the floodgates for so much stuff, which we'll be talking about for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's gonna sit at the head of the table. That's crazy. We've been talking about it for how long now?
And every year, every time it looks like it may happen. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, and we don't know if it's going to happen this time. But this is the biggest tease on television that there ever was. And, I don't know what's going on with The Rock, with, the projects that he was seemingly involved in. Did all this stuff get pushed back to a point where maybe his schedule is a little clear for WrestleMania? Maybe it's a little bit clear for Elimination Chamber. Who knows what it's going to be. But at this point, look, I said it from the beginning. That's what I opened up with, because this is a whole big thing in my mind about everything. We are about to embark on a full year of pro wrestling that we have never seen before. We do not know anything that's going to happen. It's the most amazing time at points, if you really think about it, to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
There's 365 days. Obviously we're a few days in, but it's that whole year of pro wrestling that we're going to get moments. Absolute unbelievable, moments and matches and promos and just things that are going to make history, and we don't know what any of it's going to be right now. It's all a fresh slate. It's such a fun time right now.
And just to touch on it, for the WWE fans, which we mainly are, I'm not going to front. I like WWE more than I like anything else, and that's fine. You like what you like, but here, WWE is our bread and butter, and we've really enjoyed what Triple H has been doing.
Absolutely.
2024 is going to be the first, fingers crossed, calendar year that Triple H started off fully in charge and hopefully ends fully in charge. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to get his first full WrestleMania where he's fully got his fingerprints all over it, which I'm very excited about. So just that, I wanted to add that to the 2024 new year of wrestling, because we're going to get a WWE. If what we've gotten so far is any sign of things to come, 2024 could be better, which is insane, because I was like, 2022 is amazing. It's not going to get topped. Then 2023 came around and I was like, man, 2022 can kick rocks, because 2023 was amazing. And now 2024, man, I'm excited for it.
It's infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
Infinite possibilities. Just woo.
So before we even move on from the Rock Roman thing, because it was on my list of things, clearly, obviously, if it wasn't, then I would need my head checked.
You didn't have a
Real
pulse.
quick, I want you to give me where you think it's happening. Rock Roman. Do you think it's happening? You know what? No, we're saving that for the end. That's one. We're saving that for the end. My bad. So if you want to hear what we got to say, you got to stay tuned for the whole show. Bingo, gotcha. Hook, line, sinker. Things that happened. AEW, I want to give him a shout out because the Continental Classic was awesome. It was awesome, man. So the whole thing is AEW just puts matches together with no thing. Well, with a tournament, that kind of booking works. And with this Continental Classic, when you give us a bunch of people who can go in the ring and really tell some stories in the ring, which we got a few of those.
Yes, we did.
Man, it makes for some great matches and a great tournament. The three key things I want to point out: Andrade versus Brody King was my favorite match from the whole thing because one, I feel like that was Andrade's best match he's had in AEW.
Yeah, it might be.
It's unfortunate that how he's gone because I was like, man, he finally was like getting his bearings going.
The match at Miro too was really good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I think the Brody King one was just like he told a story.
Yeah.
He didn't go in there and have your typical Andrade match. He went in there was like, Brody King's bigger than me. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. He didn't do his same old dance that he normally does with things. He told a story in the match, which was awesome. That's Andrade that like I've never seen him before, at least since NXT. I really enjoy that match. The Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston back and forth. That's my first chef's kiss of the year. Bryan Danielson, when it was the after the show promo when Eddie Kingston was talking and Bryan Danielson just turned around and was like, he did this little, where is it? I get to share this for the first time this year too. Yes. He was smirking just like this as Eddie Kingston was going off on him, but he wasn't even looking at him in the face. That was awesome. And then they had their match, and it was a beautiful story because Danielson was all cocky and arrogant, and he was talking his nonsense to Eddie Kingston as he was whooping his butt, but then Eddie caught. Great. Eddie Kingston and Mox. The promo that set up the match afterwards between both of them. It was beautiful. It was beautifully done. And if you would have told me in the beginning that Eddie Kingston was going to win it and I was going to be behind it 100%, I would have laughed in your face, much like this. Or I might have given you. I might have even given you this face. Like, what? What are you talking about? But no, they sold me. They did a fantastic job. We all know I like Mox. That's never been the question. It's Eddie Kingston. I've just never really been sold on, and he sold me. So, Eddie 3 belts. So I'm curious if he has the 3 belts or if it's just going to be one. I don't know, but
I think that they're 3 separate belts. So yeah, I guess he has to have.
Because I know he defended on Rampage, but I didn't watch Rampage this week because again, cruise baby.
Right.
But I will see this Wednesday because I'm going to Dynamite this week. The traveling never stops. It just never.
Unfortunately,
stops.
I was on a cruise, and now, unfortunately, I have to be at Dynamite on Wednesday.
It's the worst life of all time.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I wanted to get those things out about the Continental Classic because again, it was awesome. It was a hit for me, and I hope that I know that they said that this is the formula they're going to go moving forward, more sports based, and they should because that's not what WWE does, and they're supposed to be the alternative, and they're not supposed to be. So I like that. I saw he retained on Rampage, but did he have the 3 belts with him, or did he just carry the new one? That's what I'm curious about. Anything else from while we were gone that stood out to you?
Yeah, I just want to shout out that Drew and Seth match. Unbelievable. These guys.
That's the second thing on my list as well. So good.
I love that. Everything that I've seen from Drew and Seth in the ring has been absolutely amazing. The story building up to this one was really good. The whole match and everything was great. I loved even the Priest interference. I was kind of hoping for a cash in. I really thought I was like, okay, this is the perfect thing. Drew doesn't have to get beat again. Seth gets pinned, so but it's in like this murky triple threat, weird kind of a situation. So it doesn't look bad on him. And then Priest becomes champion. Like I really thought that's what we were going to go with. And he thwarted it and beats Drew. And now, okay, Drew can blame Damian, but where does he go from here? Yeah. Is the crazy thing. We'll see, but I loved that match. I mean, those guys just brought it. Half an hour. They give him a half an hour on Raw. They're like, here you go.
What up, Beast? Good to have you, man. Thank you for joining us. Man. We're just getting started here tonight. What the thing I love the most about the Seth Drew match is that Seth won, and I legit didn't. You would have asked me who was winning that match. 0% chance Seth is winning is what I would have told you.
Same.
I legit thought, yep, they're putting it on Drew and and they didn't. And I love to be shocked in wrestling, especially when it's not like bad. Like if you shock me with something stupid, I'm just like, God, like when Brock won the title at day one, that was a shocking thing where I was mad.
Right.
But not this. Not this is a good surprise because Seth is deserving. He's proven himself. Like I love Seth. I think everybody to an extent loves Seth.
I'm not mad at the decision. It's just I really expected this was Drew's time. Finally, Drew's gonna get that opportunity.
So
yeah.
And then back to the Roman thing. I love that Nick Aldis is kind of just like he's like, I don't care who you are. I'm the new guy here. I don't know what y'all been doing. I don't care what y'all been doing. We're gonna do things my way. And the fact that he's literally just going to be a thorn in Roman's side. You saw Paul just like, oh, I'm so sorry, my tribal chief. That's great. I love the job Nick Aldis is doing. I was hesitant at first. He had a great promo. They hit a great introduction. But I was like, okay, let's see how long this lasts. He's knocked out of the park. He's been fantastic. I love what Nick Aldis is doing. And then R-Truth and Judgment Day are legit the most entertaining thing in professional wrestling today. And everybody put your hands together because we have Tidy joining us on the show. This is a surprise to not just y'all, but us as well. I didn't know he was coming. He's going to power through and it's much appreciated. Happy New Year, Tidy.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, man. It's great to see you.
You're just in time because, Albert, did you have anything else?
No, just Tidy's here. Who cares if I had anything else?
Okay. Tidy, is there anything that happened since the last time we've been here that you feel like you just have to praise and just shout out at the top of your lungs? I loved it.
All right, look, man. All right,
let's limit yourself. Let's limit yourself.
I'm gonna limit myself tremendously. One, I'm a bit under the weather. Two, I did nothing but work straight through. I mean, I watched SmackDown and the whole thing with The Rock. Right when he said, I'm going to sit at the booth. That was huge for me because it just blew up more Bloodline story. And I love nothing more than Bloodline. Besides all that, I'm going to need to get back to you on that once my brain fog clears up a little bit.
You good. Because we're now going to go on. I didn't even put the banner up for that thing. It was what we missed, but now we're going into the 5 things we want to see in 2024. If you only have 3, Tidy, that's fine. I know I switched it up. Wasn't sure if you're going to make it, but we're going to go into this now. The 5 things that we want to see in 2024. Because
I want to shout out one thing real quick.
Okay, let's hear it.
Tyler Bates finally on the main roster. Just want to throw that one out there. Right. I'm very happy about that.
I'm interested to see what he does. I'm interested. Yeah. Let me pull up my notes. I got notes for every segment tonight. So
I love that.
I'm so prepared tonight, except for my internet, clearly. But we're good now. We're good. So we'll just go around one at a time. Again, I got 5. Albert might have 5. He might have 3. He might have 5. I don't know. He might be able to pull some out of the rabbit. I also picked some that I knew Tidy was gonna say. I didn't pick ones I knew Tidy was gonna say, so that we had different ones. So I got some lower tier ones, but I still want to see them. So I'm gonna hit them up.
I try to think of more unique ones.
Yes. And for me, number 5, I want to see more of the Outrunners because no tag team in professional wrestling embodies what I think professional wrestling is more than the Outrunners. I know they're in Ring of Honor. They show up on AEW every once in a while. I want to see them on TV more. And you know what? Put the dang tag titles on them. I don't care if it's the Ring of Honor ones. They deserve it. They need it. And if you push these dudes, I promise you, people are going to love them. People are going to tune in to watch them because they are amazing. More Outrunners, please, in 2024. I'm down to Tidy. I'm going to put him on the spot.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. I want to hear people actually chanting Johnny Wrestling like we did in NXT. Why? Because, man, he's back. He's been there for a while. Yeah, Ciampa's with him, and that's really cool. People who don't know who Ciampa is or even Johnny Wrestling is, but man, he was so big in NXT. I mean, Johnny Takeover, Johnny Wrestling. I as soon as I saw that he was going to WWE, my mind exploded because I was like, man, that's the next big superstar. And I just need the rest of the WWE audience to recognize who he is. So I'm looking for a big storyline, a big something with Johnny, because I think he could be as big as the Yes Movement. Like Johnny Wrestling should be chanted. So that's my one thing out of the least. At least give me a real Johnny Wrestling, man. A real Johnny Wrestling, like he was in NXT.
For sure. And before we go any further, I don't know if you even know who the Outrunners are, Tidy. You ever heard of them? Nope. I'm going to show you what they look like, and I'm going to show everybody else what they look like with gold, because, man, it is a thing of beauty. These are the Outrunners.
They look awesome.
They are awesome. They are amazing. They're young, tan, and vascular. That's what they are.
Yes, they are.
Everything that's right about professional wrestling is right here. Right there. Think how great they would look with them AEW tag team titles on their shoulders. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I agree.
All right. I like the Johnny Wrestling. We do need to see Johnny getting put in positions where we can get back to Johnny Wrestling.
I'm going to go blow my nose while Albert's about to talk.
That's good. You do what you think. Them Outrunners right there. Albert.
So I'm going to actually build off of something that Tidy said, but my number 5 thing was the tag team division in WWE to be restructured. I want to see, all right, let's get into WrestleMania with the tag titles on, on the Judgment Day, whatever they're doing, but they need to be separated. We need each brand to have their own tag team titles. I think that there are plenty of tag teams in the WWE that can be featured enough so that we can get good tag team wrestling feuds on both programs for those tag titles. And then that makes it so that we get to see these tag teams even more. So that brings up more fun things that they can do, like having number 1 contender matches and stuff like that. Cycling tag teams in and out to be, important right now, because right now tag team wrestling doesn't feel as important as it did when the Judgment Day first won those tag titles. They are defending them, but a lot of it is because their top guys are defending it against a lot of mishmash top guy tag teams. And I like what they did recently, where they had this whole tournament for them to, crown number 1 contenders. The Creed brothers won it. I loved all that. Let's bring that energy to SmackDown, because if Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are going to continue as a tag team, that's what I'm saying. It just adds such a really big boost to an already solid SmackDown tag team division.
The Creed brothers versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. That's not something I ever knew I wanted to see, and so we were just talking about this. I want to see that. I think that would be amazing.
All of that. I can't wait to see Tyler Bate give, Brutus, what's it called? Airplane spin. Because that's what's going to happen. And Tyler Bate can do it. I love the idea.
Strong boy.
Just think about the Street Profits versus Butch and Bate. These are just like the SmackDown tag divisions, like stacked.
Authors of Pain, since they're back. Them against the big Tyler Bate and
Pete
Dunne. Versus the Creed brothers. That's beefy men slapping meat. We love meaty men slapping meat. That's it right there.
Let's go.
I was completely against having titles on both. I thought the idea that would work best is your tag team champions are on Raw for 1 month, and then they do a program with someone, while on SmackDown a new team gets built up, and then they go to SmackDown for a month and they take on that team and do a program with them, while on Raw. Then that's the kind of formula I would have liked to see. But with how many tag teams it seems to be just kind of popping up, and they're good tag teams. It's not like they're just people thrown together that don't make sense, like a CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. We saw a lot of that over the past 20 years. I don't think any of the tag teams now, off the top of my head, fall into that category. I feel like they all kind of make sense. So I'm looking forward to the tag team division being a big thing, which brings me to one of my next ones is I want to see the WWE women's tag team division finally become a feature on the shows. It's every time I talk about this, it seems like they're making the steps to get there. Something happens, everything collapses, and then they got to start over. It happened, I think, 3 times last year. Chelsea Green had 2 separate reigns with 2 separate people, and she never lost the titles.
Yeah.
Because things just happened, and it was like, God. But I want to see it, no matter what, I want to see it become a feature on the shows, because it should be. If you're going to have those titles, you're going to keep them, and you're going to ignore the people saying to get rid of them. Show us why you should keep them, and actually put forth some effort. I think they're going to have to call up some NXT women to fill out a complete roster for that. But it should happen. There's no reason it shouldn't at this point. So
I wanted to float this idea out there. I think that they should institute a freebird rule in those championships, just built in. I think they should have a freebird rule built into those tag titles that if one of the partners goes down, that the tag team, that the other partner has the ability to choose like a tag team partner to replace them. Just because it's just those titles are so like cursed, you know. And then at least you can do like a fun thing where it's like, hey, okay, I want to be your partner. No, let me be your partner, you know, and it can build stories. You know what I mean? Like,
since it's never really been established, there's no reason you shouldn't just do some crazy things with it. Just have fun with it. See what sticks. Throw some things against the wall. See what sticks. I'm not against that.
Worst case scenario, at one point you just say, hey, we don't want to do it anymore. That's okay.
2/3 of the British Strong Style's back. Yeah, absolutely. It is so stacked. And it didn't even dawn on me until it was like one of the last episodes we did last year where we're talking about all the tags. I was like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. And we kept naming. I was like, man, this is crazy. And now we have more.
Right. And now you have the LWO and you have, Carrillo. You have Carrillo and Garza now are with Santos Escobar. I mean, it just creates like this huge, like, we just named like 5 tag teams on SmackDown on the top of our heads.
And Triple H loves the tag division. And if you don't believe that, go back and watch those takeovers, because the tag matches were 9 times out of 10 the best match on the entire card.
Yes,
so
it was.
I'm all for it. Tag division, back to back on that one. Let's see if Tidy can keep it going. What you got up next, Tidy?
Okay, it's a cheating, so it's number 4 for me. So it's cheating. I want Sheamus to get a damn IC title. The man worked way too damn hard to pull off banger after banger. I know people say that because he made that term popular, but when you talk about a hard-hitting physical match where let's think about it. Did he really leave everything in it? Yes, he left everything in the ring, literally every time. And that's, I don't know how many years in a row. I don't even want to count anymore. I'm so upset. I'm not that upset. I'm upset enough. Number 4, if I'm not going to get that, because I'm saying 4 times, Chad Gable. Chad Gable, another underrepresented person. And why am I saying underrepresented? Because think about the presentation of Bobby Lashley. The dude doesn't need to win. The crowd chants his name. Said that backwards. They scream Bobby because his presentation is off the freaking hook. Just him coming out to the ring. And he did like a double pump where he puts his arms up like that. And then the fireworks went off in last SmackDown. I'm like, oh, that's a little different. I see you, Bobby. But like, he's already presented. I want them to be presented on that level at least. Chad Gable, if he can't win a damn title, it's going to be really hard to swallow. But man, I want him to be presented as that dude that should be fighting Seth Rollins every week. I don't care. Have him do a trilogy with Seth. Have him do a trilogy with anybody, because we know the boy can hang. Whatever. And then the last one is another person that I feel like that can go under that radar, that if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be sad, is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, if he can't win heavyweight gold, and that's biased to me. Some people like Cody.
I'm with you, Tidy. I'm with you. It's not on my list because I knew you were going to have it covered, but it's on my list.
but yeah, Sami Zayn, somebody I wish at least was presented like Bobby Lashley, in some sense of like, man, this is the dude. And I feel like the fans know. I think there's enough people that kind of know. But I also feel like the fans also know there's a chance he ain't winning that title next year. Well, this year now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it happen. Not this year again. That's my 4 of 4 points.
So the Sammy thing is interesting. I think that, we talked about it, Tidy, right before you you joined. We really both expected Drew to win that world title match against Rollins. And my thought process was that's the perfect opportunity for Sami Zayn to come back. Cody wins the Rumble, right? And then Seth lost the title, so you have Seth and Punk still able to close the show and be the main event of WrestleMania if you wanted to. Yeah. But you have Drew and Sami Zayn open it. At WrestleMania, that's the opener for the world title. That would be great. I think that's like fan service out the butt. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. And that's why I was really shocked when Seth won. That's what I thought we were going to get. I really thought I was so excited to come on here to see the smiles on both of your faces, seeing that your boy Sami Zayn looks like he would have been in a really perfect opportunity to get that moment. But hey,
he unraveled it completely unraveled my plans because I had Sammy winning the Royal Rumble, and now I don't know. I don't know. So.
I don't know either, man. With CM Punk in there, I mean, I don't know who's going to win that Rumble. And that was a great interview, by the way, by CM Punk on the 24 preview on Peacock. Also, great interview by Rhea. Rhea stepping up that interview game. I'll tell you what.
She's a star.
Yeah. So, did you get yours in there, Albert? I'm sorry.
No. So, my number 4, real quick. I just want AEW to separate themselves as much from WWE as humanly possible this year and go back to what made them a true alternative. Don't get me wrong. I think we all knew the devil was Adam Cole. I think we all kind of called that it was going to be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and Taven and Bennett. I think we saw, the size of the guy. It was like, okay, that looks like it should be Wardlow. It makes sense. But then to call yourselves the Undisputed Kingdom, to me, it's just like, if you're trying to tell me that you wanted to be an alternative from what WWE was, you can't keep bringing these guys in and making them look and act and do exactly what they were doing in NXT. Yeah. I understand that some of those you can say, well, that was their gimmick before. Okay, well, add some elements, change some things, because WWE definitely did add elements and change things to those people before they got to, where they were.
They legit could have just called themselves the Kingdom again, and it would have been fine.
It would have been fine.
Yeah.
It really would have been fine. No one would have cared.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. Go back to being what it was, the year 1 and 2. This complete alternative, this completely different animal than WWE was doing. Go back to being that AEW, because that AEW was fun. Turn MJF back into a heel. Just let us have fun again.
The theme song we don't read.
Exactly. Yeah. It is. Yeah. And that's my thing.
I haven't heard it yet, but it doesn't surprise me.
And that's my thing. It's like, oh my God, this is exactly what we want. We want to be an alternative. And then everybody, I see all those people that say that. Then they're like, Undisputed Kingdom, that's the best name ever. And it's like, no, you said you didn't want it to be like WWE. Yeah. So why is Adam Cole exactly like he was in NXT?
I want to get this in there. Okay, if Punk wins the world title at Mania, Zayn could be the one to take it from him. That would be fun. And this is something we have talked about in the past, where we want to see a heel CM Punk and a face Sami Zayn taking off, because the storytelling in that ring would be off the charts amazing. And if you're telling me there's a world title involved at that point, I don't need to see it to know that it's going to be a double chef's kiss. I want to see it. It would be fun. But I'm going to circle back now to what Tidy was saying about Chad Gable, because the next one on my list is something that I've been preaching since April of 2023, that Chad Gable should be the one that dethrones Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and I want to see it happen at WrestleMania. The only thing that sucks about that is I think Gunther has the potential to be a guy that he'll never get close to 21-0 and all that, but he could go on a run with WrestleManias and stay undefeated, because one, his booking, he's been booked phenomenally as a monster. It's believable, and he won last year at WrestleMania, so let's keep that going. He could be an unstoppable guy over the next 6, 7, 8 years. And that's something you could play with. And hey, I know Undertaker has that itch. That could be something you play with too. Do I want to see Undertaker in a match? No. Do other fans want to see him in another match? Of course they do. It's the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That would be crazy. But no, we ain't going to get there, because Chad Gable needs to dethrone Gunther for the Intercontinental title in 2024. That's what I want to see. No, he shouldn't have. Noam Dar is perfect for that thing. He's perfect for that heritage.
Yeah, Noam Dar is a boss.
Yes.
Tidy, do you have another one for us?
Yeah, I've been thinking about more of what Becky Lynch has been doing. Same with Bayley. Charlotte's hurt. I want Sasha back. I would love to see her in WWE. I really want Sasha Banks back, and I want her to step to Becky, or I want Becky to step to her. It'll probably be Sasha stepping to Becky, right? Because Becky's still the man, period, for the women's division. If you need evidence, what did she do to that NXT title? She elevated Lyra. She elevated Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany got a big spotlight. She's been elevating everybody. It doesn't matter. And then, now I'll leave the last part for my number one. But yeah, I want Sasha Banks back. I think that her and Becky can, if she came back with the Rumble, cost Becky even better, and then they can have a program. That's what I would love. So yeah, 3, bring the boss back, bring her back home. Her best friend, is on SmackDown. Screw it, put Sasha on Raw versus Becky.
That'd be interesting to do that. I think that would be interesting to not bring her back with Bailey. But
Well,
I'm
Bailey
not
needs to be on no man's land when she can, if she wins the Rumble.
I like that because everyone else is thinking the other thing. So you went left when everyone else went right. That don't make you wrong. I like it. I do like it.
Yeah.
Because,
so you know what? There's a huge void right now in the women's division that needs to be filled with Charlotte Flair unfortunately being injured. Sasha, would plug right into that and, arguably give you a fresher version of whatever they were going to have planned for Charlotte because, despite Charlotte being there full time, you can really make Sasha, that person that quick because of what she brings, because of her aura. So
for sure.
And I was going to say that eventually, if they're going to, do the switcheroo and new rosters, moving them to SmackDown and Raw, the draft, whatever, then you would put Charlotte and Sasha in the same place because they cook on a WrestleMania. They cook on anything they do in any pay-per-view. It's been some of the best women's matches I've ever seen in my life with Sasha versus Charlotte.
They're great dance partners.
They're like, oh, we're not going to have another match. This will be the end. No, there's no reason for that. Like, these two should have beef. So eventually, they're going to be on the same brand, I hope.
Okay. Albert, what you got up?
I want there to be more interaction between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. Okay. I want SmackDown and Raw to really act this year like their own two brands. They have two separate general managers, and this should be the first year where we're going to see in a long time. It's two separate general managers from each brand drafting their own roster. This was what we had, back in the day with, the Teddy Longs and Stephanie McMahons and Eric Bischoffs of the world.
Undertaker flipping out.
Right, yeah,
it's fun.
Right, it was a lot of fun, and it would also bring back an interest into a lot of storylines where if somebody, we have the Judgment Day and they're running roughshod over Raw, right, and now Adam Pearce is like, yeah, you really want to play around? Well, guess what? Dom's the only one who doesn't have a championship. I'm gonna trade him to SmackDown. Ooh, all right. Let's stop pushing Adam Pearce's buttons here. A little bit. It can back up the heels a little bit. It can give a little bit more authority, and it's a lot more fun where you can have these guys going to different shows and say, "Hey, I'm just scouting talents. Maybe I want to make a trade."
Yes.
And now you can balance out your rosters that way and do it. Whereas, hey, we had a really good beginning part of 2024 on Raw planned out for Finn Balor, but man, this thing happened and that thing happened and it fell out, and we have a hole on SmackDown right now because something happened to this other guy, and Finn would be great there. So now instead of them just like magically just going, oh well, Finn Balor's on SmackDown now, it's like, okay, great, here's a trade. We'll put him on SmackDown. We'll bring somebody else over to Raw that can fill in that spot, and great, boom, now we got it. That's I really just want to see that brought back. I think it would bring a lot more interest to the programming.
I think another interesting thing to add to it is, hey, who's going to pick first? Well, Adam Pearce, you pick your top guy, and Nick Aldis, you pick your top guy. Y'all get in the ring, wrestle, whoever wins gets the first pick. I think things like that could be really fun. Now, I'll ask another real quick question. Do you think there's a possibility we could ever see Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis in a ring? I don't know the severity of Adam Pearce's injury, so I don't know, but
I don't think anything's out of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I that would be cool.
See, here's the thing. I was the same exact way about the apprehensive thing. I never really liked him as a wrestler, to be honest with you. I saw him a few times. I really didn't like him in his first run in TNA. I was like, man, this guy, I don't get it. But he's been fantastic as the general manager. I can't deny it. And I don't even think he's a bad wrestler. He just ain't for me. But if the story's there, and I'll watch it for sure. But JD McDonough, how are we? Yeah, we get JD McDonough, old bobblehead versus Miz. Huh? He said, "What?"
I love it.
Oh man, I'm losing track. Where's my stuff at? Oh, there it is. I'm clicking the wrong buttons here. So next up on my list, I want to see the AEW women's division utilize that roster more because they've been building a pretty impressive roster, and it might get a little bit better this Wednesday. We've yet to see. We'll find out. But man, Gianna Perazo joined last week. That's a big one for him. Mariah May joined last month. That's a big one. Toni Storm, she was my wrestler of the women's wrestler of the year last year. Britt Baker hasn't even been on TV, and I know in rings she's not one to keep up with these other girls. But as far as carrying a program, yeah, she can. She can do that. Jamie Hayter's supposed to be back at any minute now. Jamie Hayter is amazing. And then again, if they get Mercedes, they have a lot of top talent there. And then you include the names like Sky Blue, who has improved so much over the last year. Willow Nightingale. Athena has to be getting called up or brought up at some point to AEW's main TV. Yeah. There's a lot of women there that they could build a really good division around. They just gotta sink their teeth into it. They gotta let these women kind of flourish. They've been doing it a little bit by doing a squash match with a match. So it's like, oh, we got 2 matches on. One's a segment, but I'm okay with it. I'm 100% okay with it, because if you give me 3 women's segments in 1 match, that's TV time for them. I'm not one of those people who's like, they got to have more than 1 match. If you're giving them multiple segments, they're getting time to flourish. They're getting people the chance to see them and invest in them. And that's what I want to see more of. And they have enough people on that roster now to do it. So I really want to see it happen. I think it could happen. I'm crossing my fingers that it does, because I feel like that's the one thing AEW doesn't do well enough for me to fully enjoy it. Preach. AEW Women's All. Yes, it makes it suffer. But right now, it is. I'll put it up there again. I double clicked. It is better than it's ever been right now. with if you bring Jamie Hayter back, just with Jamie Hayter coming back, it's better than it's ever been. If they add Mercedes, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's almost worth overpaying her to an extent. That's what I think. Billy Starks too. I think she'll be in Ring of Honor for a while, but she's good. Bring her. She's good. I wouldn't be mad at that either. And then there's other Red Velvet, Kiera Hogan. There's so many girls there. They just have to give them the time. So that's my number 4 or 2, whichever way we're going here. That's my second to last one right there.
Yeah.
Tidy, what else you got, buddy?
All right, I want proper call-ups from NXT. I want Kiana James. I want Tiffany Stratton, and I want them brought up like JD McDonough was brought up, like Zoe Stark was brought up, into a prominent position with Trish Stratus with the Judgment Day. Like, now you really have a light on you. And that's how big I think Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton are.
Oh, yeah.
Kiana James is a badass boss. So she's got the character down. Her wrestling she can wrestle anybody. I've seen her wrestling. It's so good.
She's impressed me the last few times I've seen her.
What's that?
She's impressed me the last few times I've seen her. I didn't get the hype at first because I saw a lot of people kind of praising her, and I was like, I don't really see it. But she stepped it up. I see it now. Same with Fallon Henley. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
Fallon Henley.
Yeah.
Same with her. She's impressed me the last few times I've seen her.
Proper call-ups, just like in 2023. I want to see that continue into 2024. If I can do that for JD McDonough, we can do that. For Zoe Stark, there's no excuse. We can't give a good limelight to someone you call up and want to spend money and be the future. It's all I want, man. That's number 2.
That's good. And Tiffany Stratton, this is exactly how I would call her up. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I would have her show up in the Royal Rumble, which I think she will anyway, and I'd have her in the Final 4, and then I'd just keep her on the main roster after that. That's how I would do it. Just give her a really amazing outing, and then she's now part of the show.
Kind of like what they did with Bianca.
Right now, she's playing servant to Fallon Henley, so, I mean, might as well get her onto the Rumble at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they did with Bianca.
Yeah.
She was number 1, and her and Alexa Bliss went like for a long time, and then she was like the longest. She had 8 eliminations in that Rumble that year. Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, so you do the same thing with Tiffany Stratton. You're right. That could be the thing that straps a rocket to her.
Yeah.
So you went with AEW. I'm going to go with AEW as well.
Woo!
I want to see Ricky Starks, AEW World Heavyweight Champion 2024. I think that we are overdue.
He's going nutso.
I think we're overdue for it. I think we've gotten 3 start and stop Ricky Starks main event pushes that were supposed to happen. That never happened. He had the program with MJF. I think that was supposed to lead into something a lot bigger, and I feel like it's just gotten lost into the shuffle now, where that they were going to circle back around to that and make it a big deal when Ricky Starks came back around to challenge for that championship again. And then they turned him babyface, And even though Ricky Starks is a heel and they can do it now if they really want to, I don't think he has the world championship momentum that he did. And then also the Bryan Danielson storyline, the CM Punk storyline. Both of those were supposed to propel him to being a main eventer, and now he's in a tag team, with Big Cass. And it's like, okay, this is a good position. It's a good position. 2024, Ricky Starks needs to be a world champion caliber wrestler. And I think that he should be the one. Him and Swerve versus for the world title. Come on, that's money. That's so money.
To be fair, the CM Punk one got derailed for reasons beyond his or Punk's control. I think Punk was working overtime to get him to that spot. I really do.
Like it's big.
I want to throw. I didn't include some of the things because I felt like they were too obvious. One of them being Swerve Strickland being AW champion because I want to see
same here.
And then the other one being Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania. Those are two things I definitely want to see happen, but they're just so obvious. I didn't want to bring them in. But I wanted to get that out before I did my final one because my final one is just literally completely crazy. And I think now more than ever, there's a possibility, but we'll just have to see. I'm not. Whereas before I was like, there was probably a 5% chance it happens. I think now there's like a 30% chance it happens. And I want to see Chyna inducted into the Hall of Fame by herself, not as part of DX. I understand the reasons that Triple H, I've heard him give in the past, but when there's other people who have the exact same reasons that should have kept them out and it didn't, I think that's where I have a problem with it. I think Chyna deserves it 100%. Whereas her wrestling wasn't nothing to write about or anything like that. She made an impact. She was an intercontinental champion. She was in the she got face to face with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And at one point they were thinking about putting her in a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was that's crazy to think about, that a woman was going to share the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin in a match for a main event at a show during the Attitude Era. That's crazy to think about. That's how big of an impact she had. And I think it's nonsense not to let her in when they sell her toys still. There's stuff about her on the network and Peacock still. So, and I don't know if you guys have heard it, but the reason was because they don't want kids Googling her name and seeing things. Well, there's other wrestlers you don't want them Googling their names, but you put them in. And then if you're going to sell toys to kids, who are like, who's that? Let me Google her. I don't think the Hall of Fame is too much to ask for at this point. Chyna, Hall of Fame 2024 needs to happen. So that's my final one I want to get in there. Tidy.
I like that.
Yeah. Talk about overdue. I want. It's so much time. It's been time. Jimmy said it. I've said it. Jimmy had a solution. WD needs it. I want a women's mid-card title already. That's what I want for 2024. There is no bigger thing. I mean, because if you're going to have Becky Lynch just getting everybody over, might as well do this with the mid-card title so they have a reason to really fight, like literally sharpen their teeth before they head out there. I mean, lace their boots up before they go to the ring. I'll say sharp teeth. But that would be excellent. I mean, like, because if I can't get Bayley at Mania, what if I can get Bayley with another title? Maybe a true Grand Slam champion.
European championship.
Yeah, just something. Give me something. One more title for the women. It's about time. That's my biggest thing that I want, I think, the most this year. Triple H, pull the trigger, man.
You remember what my bold prediction was last year, Tidy, about a mid-card title for the women?
Whoa. What was it?
Charlotte winning Money in the Bank and then cashing in to win the United States title.
There you go.
Then they just reintroduce the European title to the men. So that's a secondary title. Like the United States title, I think fits perfectly for the women. I honestly do. But I think they need to figure out the division a little bit more before they do it. But I think we're closer now than ever before. Just gotta get that women's show going. That's what I think needs to happen. But yeah, that I want to see it happen. I just want to see it happen under the right circumstances. Albert, last but certainly not least, your final thing you want to see in 2024?
So this
least
is
for the show.
This is the dream scenario, because I was kind of hoping that I was going to go last here, because mine
You're welcome.
mine isn't a finite thing. It's a feeling in a way. It's a hope. It's a challenge more than anything else, I guess, for just the realm of pro wrestling. Now, Tidy, I know you joined us a little bit late. I said something earlier. It is 2024. We are at the beginning of a year, which means that we have one full year of pro wrestling, and we have no idea what's going to happen. We have a clean slate, completely blank. We have no idea what's in store for us. We have brand new year of just amazing new memories and moments to enjoy. So, in keeping with the spirit of that, I think that my hope for 2024 is that wrestling fans decide to stop being tribalistic and
He's
toxic
going crazy mode.
and negative. And the reason why I bring this up is that I think that in 2024, that's what everybody probably is looking at me like, yeah, that's not possible.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I want to see it happen.
I believe in a dream, but I also believe in human ridiculousness. Well, I know human ridiculousness, and you cannot stop it. Dude, it is a train that has infinite tracks. That shit loops forever, and it will never stop. You got football fans who are tribalistic. Jersey fans is not. Sam says, we're wearing my jersey today. Man, I mean, you think you got social media, which I'm old enough to remember where social media wasn't a thing, where every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come on and say what they want and feel valued at their opinion as a human being. It is so hard to knock it down. I mean, we're going to need someone like John Cena to literally make a speech in front of the Capitol or something to tell wrestling fans,
Cena,
y'all need to calm down. Y'all calm down or I ain't doing any more Make-A-Wishes. That'll make everybody stop. That might make everybody stop because they will be responsible for the bullshit that's about to happen. John Cena needs Make-A-Wishes.
Okay,
that's all I can say about that, man. This subject is.
I know. Albert's thing has been derailed here a second, but I want to ask a legit question. If someone was to give that speech that Tidy just said to the entire wrestling world, who would you choose to do it to get the most effectiveness out of it? Because John Cena, he'd give a great speech, but so many people hate him that they just be like, man, I'm not gonna listen to John Cena. I'm gonna go even hard. He'd be like Michael Scott. I'm gonna do it harder. So, Albert, who would you pick if you were to have someone give this grand speech to the tribalists of the wrestling world to be like, hey, stop it?
God, it's so hard. You know who I think can unite the masses? Kevin Owens.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Wow,
I would say Sami Zayn. So
there you go.
Oh, those two would be good. They could do a dual speech.
They're pretty much universally loved. They're pretty much universally loved. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It is a pipe dream. And hey, Albert, you want a dream? They say dream big. And you
here's what I think I'm going to do.
I've ever heard. So
this year, I think that I'm going to try to go from here on out, January 7th, 2024. I am going to try to not be negative on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, all year. I'm going to try to be positive. I'm going to try to talk about things that I enjoy. I'm going to try not to speak about anything that I dislike.
And me and Tidy will be there to check him in case he does. We're going to help make it happen. We're going to help make it happen. I'll tell you what, this wouldn't happen because they hate her more than they hate John Cena, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. It's unfortunate. I used to be on that bandwagon. I'm not going to lie. I just never really cared for Natalya. I've grown to kind of appreciate her, much like the John Cena thing. As I got older and I understand what she does more, I do appreciate her a little more, but way too many people hate her.
I appreciate her.
But
yeah.
But so that's the things that we want to see happen in 2024. They're all going to happen. So it's all good. We're going to have a great year of wrestling. That's what it is. Awesome. So now we can move on to the final segment in which Tidy literally has zero clue about.
Yeah.
I've written down 10 questions of predictions that could happen in 2024. And they're kind of the things that people are waiting for or are expecting to happen. So we're just going to go through the list. I got 10 of them. You're going to just give me yes or no answers on them. And we can talk about them just for a tad bit. We are running low on time. But I just want to get answers. And at the end of the year, I'm going to tally them up. And whoever wins. Congratulations. You're the winner. And that's all I'm going to give you. But it should be fun here. I'm excited about it. So Number 1 on the list. Let me get that banner up. I didn't take time to make this banner all 5 seconds to make that banner without putting it up. I got to do that. Question number 1. You're gonna have to guess on some of these, Tidy, because they are AEW. Sorry.
Okay.
Does Swerve Strickland win the AEW championship in 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Tidy says yes.
I know who Swerve is.
What about you, Albert? I can't see it.
Yeah, no fun.
Your green screen is too much for it.
It's true. Yes.
Okay. Albert says yes. I too am going to say yes. I think we're going to get Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay for the main event at All In. That's what I think we're going with. And
wow,
sign me up.
I'm watching it just for that. That's what I want to see. So, I put it on the wrong line. I'm confusing myself already. Next up, number 2 on this list. Does Cody Rhodes finish his story at WrestleMania?
No.
Yes.
Tidy says no. He's like, I hate Cody Rhodes.
I don't think Roman's wins it, man. I think Cody's gonna finish it at SummerSlam or something. Man, you know what? Roman can't lose right now. Roman can't lose right now.
I'll just say this. Courtney said yes to the Swerve Strickland, and then she said no to Cody Rhodes. She hates him just as much as Tidy does.
I don't.
I'm going to say yes just because I want it to happen so bad. I know there's a monkey.
I thought that everybody was going to say yes, so I was going to say no, but Tidy said no, so I was like, all right, that's cool.
Shinsuke's gonna finish the story for him. He's gonna come out in the Cody outfit.
Oh man,
and that's just gonna make him the ultimate heel.
I'm so mad I forgot this on things we missed. The Nightmare Christmas Story thing where he called Dusty Rhodes inbred was one of the top 5 things I saw all year. That was stupendous.
That was so good.
Love this version of Shinsuke Nakamura. I want him to. That's something I want to see happen in 2024. I want to see this version of Nakamura stop jobbing to everybody, and I want him to start winning some matches.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to stop believing that he's a badass if he's not winning. He needs to start winning some things because he is amazing right now. But like I said, I know a monkey wrench just got thrown into the whole Cody Rhodes story thing. Well, 2 monkey wrenches because Punk and Rock. But that gets us to the next question. Do we see Roman Reigns versus The Rock happen in 2024?
Yes, it's money.
No.
Don't.
Where do you see it happening? Because I know we were talking about it. You said you think it'll happen.
Look, if it does happen, I think that it's already set up and it's gonna happen at Elimination Chamber. I think that's the only way it happens. If it doesn't happen in February, it's not happening. Okay. Because The Rock is too busy. I think he always thinks, hey, let me tease this because there's always a chance where something can happen and then I can fall back into this and there's going to be a chance where, hey, I'm not going to have anything to do. And then something comes up and he has something to do. Because he's the busiest man in the world. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we keep getting teased, and I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like Undertaker and Sting is going to happen. It's going to happen one of these days. Doesn't make a difference. WCW went out of business. Undertaker and Sting is going to happen. Sting's not in TNA anymore. Sting's in WWE. Undertaker and Sting is going to happen, and it never happened.
It shouldn't have happened either. It shouldn't have. It would have been a mess. Hey, thank you for joining us, Walrads. You believe in innocence.
I was going to say something, but that Sting talk was so good, I completely lost what I was thinking.
The Rock. He believes Chris Jericho's an innocent man. Hey, we'll see.
The Rock.
I hope. Go ahead, Tidy.
The Rock doesn't have to fight. Rock doesn't have to fight. He can just assume the head of the table in some way and make that the whole entertainment with Roman and everybody else. And 5 ways to make that interesting and being like, you know what? I'm going to send somebody that deserves to beat you. And it could be Cody. And it may not be that way. I don't know. And I feel like there's a chance that might happen. But I'd rather see The Rock versus Roman this year.
Okay, so he said B says yes to Swerve. Unfortunately, yes to Cody. He hates Cody too. A bunch of Cody haters in the building. Hey, I'm with y'all. I don't really like him either, but I do want to see him finish the story. I'm tired of hearing about finishing the story.
Rock and Roman is money.
Yes to Rock versus Roman. He thinks it'll be Elimination Chamber. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think it happens this year, and I'm going to say it happens at Elimination Chamber. And I got into like a little back and forth with someone, and I had to hurt his feelings about it, but it is what it is. It'd be crazy to do Rock versus Roman in Elimination Chamber. And I'm like, why?
Why?
Because the stadium is going to fill up damn near just as much as WrestleMania does. They've kind of stunted at like 45,000, and I think it fits 60. How do we fill that last 15 in? Oh, Rock versus Roman at a stadium show in Australia, where the government is going to gladly pay us a little bit more money to make that happen. And then The Rock can just kind of go in and he could do his business savvy stuff to be like, hey, I got the XFL going. I got this going. It allows him to open up the door for more business ventures, to why he would say yes on top of the payday. And I think that's where it happens. On top of that, why did The Rock and Rhea Ripley have this interaction? Why? She's Australia's biggest star. She's been the one doing the most press over there. And to really get it going, hey, here's Rhea and The Rock doing this thing for y'all to promote Elimination Chamber. I think he shows up at Royal Rumble. I'm so excited. And then it starts and he challenges him for Elimination Chamber. So that's what I think happens there. Got a little crazy there. But now on to the next question. Number 4. Does MJF show up in WWE in 2024?
Yes.
No.
Albert says no. This is a tricky one, because
it is.
If he had re-signed back during when he took that hiatus because he was mad,
right?
Clearly, I would understand him re-sign now. If he hadn't re-signed and he has to re-sign now, in the current shape of AEW, I hate to say this, in the current shape of AEW and the trajectory they're heading at this very moment, I think MJF would be a fool to re-sign with AEW. I just think so. I think he's going to make more money in WWE. I think they're going to help him get to where he wants to go faster in WWE. And he's shown during this babyface run that he can dial it back, still be entertaining, and make it work. I know a lot of people are like, I want heel MJF back because he is more heinous. He just kind of says a lot of the same stuff, and he does cheap things. That's my opinion. He's still really great. I love MJF. But I think the babyface thing has shown that he can dial it back for the WWE audience, and he'd still be just as entertaining. That's my opinion. So this is based on the idea that I think he has re-signed already back then, not now. And I'm going to say no. Man, I want it to happen. But no, I don't think he does.
So I think that I don't think we get that big MJF rah-rah, press release thing that he did, talking about so positively about AEW if he was planning on going to WWE. I know that a lot of people are saying, hey, that was MJF's way of just being like, hey, I love these guys, but, I got to go, kind of a thing.
Cody hater in the house. They're everywhere. I think it's hilarious.
I'm the only guy who likes Cody. Where's Nick when you need him?
Hey, Drew lost like
on the side of the road, man.
Drew lost many times in a row.
So I just don't think that happens. I think that MJF knows that right now he is the guy, and if he signs for a year or two, that's just a year or two more where he's going to be a top guy.
Yeah.
And then he goes to WWE where maybe he can do whatever he wants. And you know what? Maybe he had a number. And he said, hey, Tony, this is my number. Hit this number, and I'll sign with you. And Tony Khan was just like, okay. Because he knew that MJF, it was definitely a flight risk.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So then why wouldn't you just hit his number? If he asked for a number and Tony Khan was just like, okay. I mean, maybe there was negotiation that went on, but eventually they went, okay, that's your number. Here, this is where we're at. Okay, we agree. Great. I think that's the only way it works, because I think that at the end of the day, MJF knows he has a larger fan base to play to in WWE right now. He has more eyes on him. Yeah. And he said he doesn't want wrestling to be his end game. He loves it, but he knows it's not his end game. So if he's looking to do what The Rock did, nobody did that in WCW. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hate to be that guy to bring it to you. Yeah, Terry Funk maybe you can say Terry Funk had an acting career, but nobody was The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin
Or
Hulk
Bautista.
Hogan, or Batista.
Or Cena.
Or John Cena. I mean, these are people that are now known by mainstream people and they started off with their association in WWE. Miz, sure,
Miz,
absolutely.
So here's another thing. I think MJF. I'll put this up. I don't think MJF will, which sucks because if Tony was smart, he'd let him be a shock in the Rumble. I agree, but I think the thing that makes MJF so smart here is that he knows that he's been playing this thing for like 2.5 years now, like the bidding war of 2024. It's arrived, and even the people who assume he's re-signed, we're not going to see him for a while. We're just not. He's injured. He's got to get healthy. And MJF's the kind of guy who understands how the wrestling business works. And whenever we see people jump ships, it's usually like the second they're available to do shows, they're doing the shows. And I hate to even quote the man because he's become a stain on the wrestling business, and it is unfortunate. Jim Cornette, I agree with him 100% here. He says these guys need to learn, guys and gals, need to learn how to make wrestling fans miss you so that when you do return, it's so much more impactful. So just think MJF coming up into the Royal Rumble, you're going to have a lot of people talking. MJF's going to show up in the Rumble. Then he doesn't. Then they start saying, oh, well, maybe he's going to AEW. Maybe he's going to return to AEW. And then AEW has their pay-per-view in early March, Revolution. And they're like, oh, maybe he shows up here. He doesn't show up there. People are going to be talking about MJF this whole time, much like they were doing CM Punk. Like right now, they're doing with Mercedes Moné. They're talking about because they're like, where's he going to go? And he's going to be the talk. And then when he does eventually show up, it's going to be like mind-blowing. If he does go to WWE, he shouldn't show up until the night after Mania. That's my opinion. But I don't think he's coming to WWE. So
kind of like the hints about Bray Wyatt,
Yes.
There were so many hints about it. So when he came out, my brain shattered, like literally shattered. Like some of the Cody fans, when they heard Cody's music play, I was still pumped as hell for it because I've heard Homelander and all these things.
Right there.
But yeah.
And an example of why I think you need to do it is, again, this is no disrespect to Deonna Purrazzo. She is a fantastic talent. Everyone kind of knew she was going to be showing up in AEW, and then she did, and it was like, that's a cool moment, but it wasn't talked about very long after that, was it? You got to make people miss you to make those things more impact. That's my opinion on it. I do agree with Jim Cornette on that one. I don't agree with him on many things, though, just to make that clear. Next up, I'll have to do some do we see Tyler Black in 2024? And Tidy, Tyler Black is Seth Rollins, who he was when he was in Ring of Honor. So that would mean, do we see Seth Rollins leave WWE in 2024?
What? No.
His contract's up in July, just so we're clear.
No.
Okay.
I can't have that.
Okay.
So here's the thing. My answer is very simple, but I just want to bring this up. We have the opportunity as human beings, as promoter, as wrestling fans, and then and the promoters of these companies have the opportunity in 2024 to do some of the most fun things for wrestling fans ever. If they would stop being so selfish, if they would stop being such asses, and they can just sit there and say, hey, you know what? Okay, Seth, your contract is up in, you said it was in June?
I think it's July. Him and Becky both.
Okay, so Seth, your contract is up in July. We're going to re-sign you as of the day of SummerSlam. Now, from the end of your contract in July to August 24th, let's just say that's what SummerSlam is. Have fun.
Okay, here you go. June, not July.
Okay, so for the whole month of July, have fun. Go out and do whatever you want. Come back in August, and then we'll pick you back up.
Okay. So
how much fun would that be if MJF right now, same thing, his contract expires, they say, hey, we're going to sign you in February. Go ahead. Go be in the Royal Rumble. Exactly. And then because what does that do? When MJF then shows back up in AEW, they both say, then everybody's like, holy crap, he went in, he was in the Royal Rumble, and he still didn't sign with WWE. Imagine how crazy that is. WWE's got nothing. AEW can sit there and brag, and then Seth Rollins can come over. Oh my God, Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay? at whatever pay-per-view this is insane. Holy crap, what's he gonna do next week? And he shows back up on Raw.
Yeah. So quick question here to Courtney before I let you go, Tidy. I have not seen anything like this. Feel free to send it to me because I'm very curious. I have not seen anything on it, and I would definitely be curious to see that. Tidy, go ahead.
I think it's not just as a business. It's a good. I agree with Albert, because if that kind of stuff existed to where you can let them have fun for a month or two, fantastic, man. Just let them do it for the wrestling world. That's great and all. But as a business, I would want to
WWE won't
show
do
how much I love this talent, how much you are part of the brand. Like, WWE is Seth Rollins. Like, he speaks and talks it so damn much.
That's why
like
my answer.
how he goes off on Drew or CM Punk or anybody. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would want to sign them faster and make sure that we keep them going, as it's a good faith sign to the fans. Even
so, Tidy, Albert, what'd you say? Yes or no?
Absolutely not. He's saying WWE for the rest of the life.
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes. I think if he hasn't already resigned, like she's saying, I think lets the contract run out. I think he takes some time off to get healthy, and then I think he does a world tour. I don't think he goes and signs with AEW or anything like that. I think he just kind of does a world tour so that he can have those matches against Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega and the people that because he listens to the internet. He does. Unfortunately for Seth, he listens to the internet, and he's got it. So for someone who listens to the internet, he's got to be having that itch. Like, man, I really want to get in there with Will Ospreay to prove to everybody that I am on that level still. The conversation, who's better, Kenny Omega or Seth Rollins, has been a thing for like 2, 3, 4 years. He wants to get in there with Kenny Omega to be like, hey guys, yeah, I'm every bit as good as he is. I think he does a little world tour before re-signing with WWE.
I mean, it makes sense.
I'm probably crazy. I 100% probably am crazy.
Yeah, but that kind of an idea was kind of an out there thing for Bryan Danielson at one point. Remember, before he re-signed with WWE, and it was when he did re-sign, because his contract came up, I think, at one point, and it looked like he was going to step away, and then he did re-sign, and then he extended his contract, for that WrestleMania, and he left and went to AEW. But there was that point where everybody said he's just going to go out and he's going to wrestle everybody. I think it was because it was the pandemic, so nothing was open. You really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
At that point. So that was that. But I think that was the initial idea. It was, hey, I'm going to go out. I'm going to wrestle all these guys. Kind of like what Chris Jericho was inevitably supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
he was going to go out,
exactly.
wrestle all those guys and come back to WWE.
And who is Triple H's number one guy?
Seth Rollins.
So, of course, if Seth was feeling that way, Triple H would like you were saying, go have some fun, man. We'll be here when you get back.
See, I think that if I'm Seth Rollins,
sides of that.
I just real quick, Teddy, I was just going to say, I think if that I'm Seth Rollins, if that I'm Triple H's number one guy, I think that's the reason why I'd open up the phone call, to Tony Khan and say, hey, look, if we don't screw with each other ever, and we are just businessmen, and we say, hey, this is going to be good for our product, and it's going to be good for your product, fine. If you let MJF come into the Rumble, we'll let you have Seth Rollins, for a month to do something. That, like, if Rollins can get those things open, then that gives Rollins every instinct to say, hey, I'll never leave you. Just give me what I want.
This might be a hater thing for me to say. I think Tony Khan has ruined any chance for those lines of communication to be happening anytime soon because of his mouth.
Me too.
Tidy, well, go ahead real quick.
No, I was gonna say the flip, that, like what Jimmy said, is a perfect opposite of what I was thinking. I mean, because that can literally exist. Go do a world tour. Triple H got your back. That's your guy. Also,
WWE ain't gonna miss him. I hate to say it. They ain't gonna miss him.
We have plenty of things going on.
Yes.
Carrying crosses with AOP, man, that's dope. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
But what's called the flip side is, again, I'm Triple H. That's my guy. I'm going to let him know ahead of time, I'm willing to re-sign you and I'm giving you this much or whatever you want.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're going to throw the bank at him.
Sure. And then the flip side to that really is, and then Seth being just a company guy and loving Triple H, like, sure, boss, I'll sign. He wouldn't even probably think about it to an extent. But if he did, Triple H would listen.
Yeah. But again, I think the first thing he does is just get healthy. I think he just takes the time off to get healthy before he does it. He has,
He
I don't
needs
know,
to.
maybe 10 matches around the world against the opponents that he's got that itch for, and then he comes back to WWE and he rides off into the sunset at the end of that.
For all
contract.
sakes, I hope that is true because I want to see. I want to see Omega versus Rollins. I want to see Ospreay versus Rollins.
I want to see
really
Ospreay
do.
versus Rollins at this point, and
That's
I
the one
want, as much
I
as I
want to see
dislike him,
Ospreay versus the world. Honestly, I want to see Ospreay fight everyone.
As much as I dislike him, I want to see Rollins versus Hangman Adam Page too. I just think that's a perfect match right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, we'll start going through these a little quicker. Does Drew McIntyre leave WWE?
No.
I'm saying no.
Man,
This is all a great
yes.
story.
I say yes. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of lost in the shuffle at this point.
If
So.
he loses one more match, I'll say. He loses one more match, I'll say yes.
Well, he's gonna lose another match at WrestleMania. So
stop it, please. No more.
Does Jade Cargill win a championship in 2024?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? Just for the sake of being different, I'm gonna say no.
Fine.
Okay, this one's not a yes or no. It's more of a you got to pick a promotion. Where does Mercedes Moné go?
WWE.
AEW.
I hate it for you, Tidy, but I think it's AEW, and I think it happens this Wednesday.
Damn it!
I think it happens this way. But just this is really cool. I'm going to Dynamite this week, so if she does, I get to be there for it. If she shows up at WWE, I assume it would be at the Royal Rumble, so I get to be there for it. Either way, I get to see the return of Mercedes Moné, and that's fucking cool. So Lou, he loved that shit. Courtney says AEW. Next up, does CM Punk make it to 2025 in the professional wrestling world?
Yes.
I think, like a cat, he has 9 lives, and I think we're on number 7. So yeah, I think this might. I think it'll be for like Impact, but yeah, sure.
How many lives has he got left?
I think we're on 7. I think it's 7. I think he's got 2 more left. I think he's got a. I can mess up in WWE one more time and go to Impact, and then
he ain't going to Impact, bro. He ain't going.
And then after the Impact thing, he's got a. His last life is I'm gonna get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and then somehow if he screws that one up, that's it. He's done. He's out of pro wrestling.
You know what? In parentheses, I'm gonna put Impact, and if it does happen, you get bonus point.
All right.
And last but not least, number 10. Do you think? And I'll explain this one a little bit because I pulled it out of my ass. Do you think WWE and TNA work together in 2024? And the only reason I bring this up is because TNA will now be streaming on an Endeavor. I think that's how you say it. Endeavor. There we go. On an Endeavor company, whatever. It's Endeavor is the company that they will be streamed through. Endeavor also owns WWE. So I know a lot of people were thinking the Triple H announcement on Thursday was going to be a partnership there. But at TNA, not Impact, I'm sorry. We're sorry. But do you think they will have a partnership in 2024?
Yes.
Courtney says no.
I want to believe in possibilities like Seth Rollins doing the world.
He's a man of hope. I love it.
That one I will be hopeful for because that would open up a little bit more.
Having AJ Styles have a run in TNA again, that'd be cool.
Why not? But I got to get going, guys. I got someone banging on my door.
You're good, man. Thank you for joining. That was the end of the show, honestly. We're at the last part of it. So I'm glad you joined us, man. I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah, great seeing you, man.
All right. Love you guys.
Every week get better, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna be the pessimist. I'm gonna say no, and the reason why I'm gonna say no is just specifically because WWE looks like they're doing so much with a whole bunch of other promotions at this time. Why even dip your toes into the TNA waters at this point? Unless it's like for a one-off. Like if they want, like, look, it looks like Naomi's gonna return to WWE, but I don't think that they need to work with TNA for that. Her contract's gonna end and she's gonna sign with them, right? You know. But I think that unless they have something that they really want to do talent wise, like AJ Styles really wants to have a run in TNA for some reason. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's any reason for it.
Quick question. What does AJ Styles have left to do in WWE?
Honestly, nothing. Really.
Nothing.
Yeah. He could.
This is my thought process. Would you send AJ Styles down to NXT like you have with Baron Corbin and a few others? Do you think he fits in with that at all?
No. See, what I think that you do with AJ Styles right now is you give him his just due, almost like his retirement tour run. Put him in, like they're doing it right. He starts the year off in the main event. He's in a world title picture. I think from here on out, we get all the AJ Styles feuds and matches we want to see out of AJ. And then then that's it. If he wants to retire, he's been saying he's been wanting to retire. If he wants to retire, let him retire. I don't think he needs to run in NXT. I think he just stays at the top. He's a top guy up until maybe next WrestleMania. And you know what? If I'm WWE at that point, I'd actually do exactly what they did with Edge. Okay, AJ, we did everything. You've done everything. There's no stone we haven't yet left unturned. You faced all the guys you've wanted to face. Hey, if you want to go and sign with AEW for 2 years because you want to, jump in the ring with Kenny Omega and maybe Okada signed over there, and maybe you want to have that match against Ospreay. Hey, sure, have fun.
And I don't think a partnership happens. I don't. I just wanted to add it in there because again, the thought was there for a lot of people.
Yeah,
but if it was to happen, I think it's perfect for someone on the level of AJ Styles to where if you want to send him somewhere to get, if he wants to wrestle, but you have nothing for him on your shows anymore because again, he's accomplished everything in WWE. Like I can't think of anything left for him to do in WWE that I'm like, I want to see it. And that's nothing against AJ. It's just kind of like how things have happened. But if you had a partnership with TNA, you could send someone on the level of AJ Styles over to TNA and have him work a program with Josh Alexander, which would be something that he's probably would be pretty cool with. Like he would probably be pretty happy with that. And I think there's a few other guys that you could do that with eventually. But I don't think it happens.
I don't think so either. And I also think
it's a fun conversation. That's all.
We say that, but I also think that if I'm AJ, I'm almost seeing that as a step down.
Nah.
Hey, you've got a year left on me, and you decide you're just going to throw me in TNA for a year.
It would be his decision. It would be his decision, not like we're making you do it. It's just
like, no. I understand it. I just don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that AJ. I don't know. I think that maybe he even sees it that way. Like, I don't want to do that.
I think he would. I think it would be something that entice him a little bit. Like, I could go over there and have a program with Josh Alexander. That could be fun. That could be fun. It would be a fun program to have. So that was my thought process there. I wanted to see Okada go to. Hey, it's not out of the realm of possibility at this point, unless something's happened that I haven't seen. Because again, I'm kind of out of that whole loop now at this point. But
that was going to be my number one, by the way.
What's
overall things I want to see in 2024? Okada go to WWE, but I decided to go meta and try to better the pro wrestling world.
Yeah. Hey, again, I don't think it's happening, but I wouldn't be against it because I think it opens up the doors for cool things to happen. And
TNA has shown they're willing.
Yeah, and it would help TNA so much.
It would.
I literally have nothing bad to say against TNA, even though I don't really watch it because I don't enjoy the weekly show. It's not that it's bad; it's just not for me. But man, the fans, everything about TNA is awesome. So if we can help it, I'm all for that. That's awesome. That's cool. So that's what I'll say there. And that's a wrap, baby. We're a little long, but that's fine. It's our first show back. We're getting our feet back. So I didn't even have internet the first part. So we got that fixed. Next week will be a completely awesome structured show. I promise you, I'm going to try and do the notes thing all year. Albert's going to stop trying to be negative on Twitter, X,
that's right,
whatever we're calling it, Wakanda forever. I'm going to start having notes every single show. That's what I'm going to do. That's my New Year's prediction for the Positively Awesome Wrestling Show.
That's our Positively Awesome New Year's resolutions.
There you go. You heard it here from us. And if you catch us doing shit that we're not supposed to do, call us out on it. I will be on Albert's ass for sure. So with that said, it's now time to say our goodbyes. Albert, let them know what it is and what they need to do.
New Slam Sessions. It's a new toy room renovation on the Slam Sessions. So go watch it.
Boom. It's that simple, everybody. Go watch Slam Sessions. If you're into the collectibles and all that stuff, that's your guy. That's your guy. He's the Matt Cardona of the PAW.
I'll take it.
Much love. Hey, I'm gonna hit you up this week, Beast Mode. We are looking for a guest for next week, and I would love to have you as the first guest of 2024. So I'm gonna hit you up in the DMs with that. And of course, just enjoy wrestling. That's what I say all the time. And again, in case you haven't figured out what it is I mean when I say it, just watch what you enjoy and love it. If you don't enjoy it, I'm not telling you to enjoy it. Just don't watch it. Don't give it any attention. It's just, I don't enjoy ESPN anymore, so I don't watch it. So I just enjoy the sports that I watch because it's just funner that way. I promise y'all. Much love, y'all. Thank you, man. Happy to see you in the chat as well. Good to see you, man. Absolutely. And with that said, head on over to Wrestle Buddy. We're gonna have an additional end of the year awards over there. We did a little different. We had 4 nominations. That way you get a little bit more introspective on our ideas of 2023. So make sure you head on over to there, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and stay tuned for that. Also, over at Geek Buddy, we have movie awards. So if you're into that stuff, go check that out as well. The site will be kicking off this year. I said this last year. I'm gonna say it again this year. I'm getting my butt to work. I went to a local indie show last night, and I took the camera. I'm gonna start doing some photography at these shows too. I'm getting busy in 2024. I hope y'all do the same. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week, in which we'll be talking Royal Rumble, because it is Royal Rumble season and everybody loves the Royal Rumble. So next 2 weeks probably gonna be Royal Rumble, and that's fine with me. I got no problems with that. So much love, everybody. Thank you. And also, again, one last time, there you go. Luke jumping in on the fun. Always just love wrestling. I like it. Yeah. Deuces, everybody. I forgot I had to hit it twice.